All attempts to save Maynard failed, and he was pronounced dead at 1:30.
There was no medical sign, nothing. He was, well, it was just sudden. They called me and told me what had happened, and there was no response. Charlie's a likable, very intelligent person, and he would be a great loss, not only to the Free National Movement, but to the Bahamas, because he had a lot of things he wanted to do, not only for the party, but for the young people.
Maynard's cause of death has not been confirmed. Colleagues tell us he never complained about feeling ill, and longtime friend Fenton Nemore says Maynard was taking his health seriously.
He was always concerned of his weight, but he was an avid walk-in runner. Early in the morning, he would get up and exercise, and so that was never one of the concerns he expressed to myself.
In a press statement, former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham wrote that Maynard brought enthusiasm, energy, and passion to all his undertakings, was a dedicated minister, and had much more to contribute. Ingraham says Maynard will be difficult to replace and will be terribly missed. Maynard was elected to Parliament in 2007 as the FNM MP for Golden Isles and served as a State Minister for Education before being appointed Minister for Youth, Sports and Culture. Prime Minister Perry Christie describes the unexpected death of Charles Maynard as a tragic loss, which will be devastating for those who loved him.
I deeply regret that someone who is so young, really, and just over 40 years of age, would have died in such tragic circumstances. And we really will have an opportunity to speak nationally to his loss.
Mr. Christie said whenever a young person involved in public life dies, it is very shocking. He said Maynard has just begun his public life in a real way after laboring in the wilderness for a long time.
He clearly decided to move to the forefront because he was very active, attracted a lot of heat from our side.
But for now, the Prime Minister is conveying sympathies to Maynard's family on behalf of the government and the people of the Bahamas. Attorney General Alison Gibson, cousin of Charles Maynard, said he gave stellar service as a minister, and her family is grateful for the kind and gracious remarks people have made about him. She recalled her last conversation with Charles in the House of Assembly a few weeks ago.
The former Prime Minister was due to give his remarks, and of course Charles was there as chairman of the party with other FNM supporters, and we embraced, as usual, very warmly, and surprisingly to me, some of the FNM supporters were taken aback, and I had to remind them, this is family, and nothing takes precedence over family. I mean, we were brought up that, and I would just urge all Bahamians to please remember that we must not. This is our 40th anniversary of independence, and we're going to continue to think and talk about these things. And to you young ones as well. The politicians all love each other. They're even cousins. They're even cousins.
Maynard Gibson is pleading with Bahamians not to let artificial differences like politics get in the way of remembering that we are all Bahamian.
And I want to say that that is a principle that my cousin Charles is completely, totally committed to. He lives his life that way.
Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis said it is important to number your days and make them count.
I think Charles' days counted. You might say it's too soon for him to have gone, but I think what he did in his short time on earth counted. For that, it makes the moments and occasion even more sad.
State Minister for Finance Michael Halkitis also expressing shock and sadness over the death. Halkitis ran against Charles Maynard in the last general election. Maynard secured the Golden Isles seat in 2007, and Halkitis was able to win this year.
I have known him before that. I considered him a friend, and I'd just like to express my sympathy to his family. It's a sad day. It's a young man with a future in politics in the Bahamas, and it's just sad to see someone with so much to offer go so early.
At the time of his death, Charles Maynard was serving as coordinator of the party's by-election campaign in Abaco. FNM leader Dr. Hubert Minnis says the party will move forward with their campaigning, even as they pay tribute to their fallen colleague. He adds that Maynard was passionate about that fight and would want them to go on to victory. Reporting for Guardian Radio News, I'm Morrison Jones.
And tonight we bring you an excerpt from one of Charles Maynard's last interviews. He sat down with Jeffrey Lloyd for The Political View and spoke candidly about his new position as chairman of the FNM.
The chairman of a political organization is a full-time job. You got to go to Abaco and Exuma and Inago, and you've got to be all over the place all the time. How do you manage to do that?
It's going to be difficult. I can be honest with you.
my wife and immediate family had to take a deep breath in terms of digesting the whole thing and realizing that coming off of being a minister in government, that was not a 9-to-5 scenario where I was going in the evenings and in the weekends and so on. Now to kind of pick up where I left off as national chairman is a lot for them to do. But they understand that this is a passion for me and that I want to give service and that I'm going to do the best to balance my life and to be able to make sure that I could earn a living, I could spend time for the good development of my kids and spend time with my wife, but at the same time give service to my country at this level. And so I'm young and energetic, and I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to make it work.
On behalf of the entire Guardian family, we do express condolences to the family of the late Charles Maynard.